Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri, and is the world's first single barrel only liquor store. This business is owned and operated by Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution list. That way you'll know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and what barrel picks they have in the works. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebar2go.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we discuss the projects of Beau Cumberland. My name is McNew. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, Beau Cumberland, Ryan Thompson, and Nate Weiniger.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Hey, guys.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Steve?
Not much. Things are going well here, and hopefully things are going well with you, and can't wait to hear about what Beau's got going on, some exciting stuff. But before we get to all that, Ryan said there's something pressing he needed to ask us about. What is that, Ryan?
Yeah, I figured since the show is all about Beau, we'd start out and just ask people if they've ever had a ladder accident in their life, Ladders are definitely one of the most dangerous pieces of equipment around the house.
Yeah.
And there's an astonishing amount of ladder accidents that often don't end very well.
Yes.
And so I just throwing it out there. It is in the fall where a lot of people are up on their ladders, cleaning their gutters, getting ready for the winter. And so I just figured it's fitting to maybe if someone has a ladder accident story they'd like to share.
Okay. I thankfully don't, and knock on wood, I don't use a ladder very often. I'm not built for ladder work, so yeah, it makes sense. I avoid ladders. I have to change some light bulbs with ladders in the house. That's about the extent of it, and that's pretty controlled. Hopefully, I never fall off that. Anything could be tragic, even though it's just a 6-foot ladder, I guess. And I have to go up. We have a 17-foot tall living room ceiling with some lighting pretty far up there. So that's really about the only time because I don't clean the gutters, don't put up Christmas lights or anything like that. So no, I avoid ladder, and definitely would never get on the roof. Oh, I'm terrified of that. That sounds horrible. Yeah, and I got a walkout basement with a 2-story. So that one side where it's 30 foot, I get queasy just looking up there. I got I got a buddy who does some work for me up there. I can't even watch that. I got to go inside. So it's bad. Well, Nate, you're a big ladder guy, huh? I would assume. Nate
First thing I check is the weight limit on them suckers. If it doesn't say 300 pounds plus, I don't touch it. So that's very not too many few ladders I get up on.
Yeah,
we have the Christmas lights coming up here, and I hire a couple guys to do that. I've learned because if I fall, it's going to be an easy recovery. I don't think so.
Yeah, makes sense. And they have that whole Christmas light thing down these days. It's almost like why would you get up on a ladder? They got all these services that just do that, and they pretty much handle everything for you. So yeah, it's not a bad thing. McNew, how about you? You do a lot of decorating and stuff. There may be ladders involved in that.
Yeah. So I'm lucky.
And you're clumsy. I am
clumsy, but I'm lucky that I'm semi-tall enough that just a step ladder works for our ceilings in this house situation. Right. But you do have to make sure those things are locked, because if not, they just kind of collapse with you on them. And I've done that a couple times, but you're only falling 3 feet. You can catch yourself on a wall. It's not really a big deal. It just kind of pisses you off more than anything.
I've seen McNew fall on many city streets before, but not off a ladder.
See, I was doing just fine until Steve had to say something, and then it was all his fault that I fell.
It's always my fault, yes. Yeah. Beau, have you ever fallen off a ladder? I don't recall anything.
You don't?
No, not at all.
I feel like people are wondering how the ladder ties into my story. And actually, I was
Ron had to bring it up, but I'm hoping this maybe takes the story, like takes away from the pants falling down story being told. So maybe the latter story.
Well, here's the bottom line, though. What you're getting ready to tell, there was some pants falling down in that too, but we'll get to that in a second.
So the story is, we were in Colorado this past summer filming for a project we'll be talking about later. And we were at 10th Mountain, and they had their cooker going. And so I thought it would be a great idea to, get a good shot down in the cooker while it was, getting started good. So the nice gentleman at the distillery got me a big, 10-foot ladder, something like that, 8-foot ladder, 10-foot ladder. And I'm pretty nimble, and I'm pretty, I'm
That's how I think of you always. Yes.
Yeah. I'm pretty light on my feet, and
sure.
I climbed up the ladder and got the great shot that I needed to get. Well, climbing down the ladder, about probably the second from the top, my foot got stuck. But the problem is, I had already committed to leaning back to get to the next one. So my foot got stuck. All I could grab onto was the top of the ladder, which did nothing but pull it right over on top of me. So I fell down about, it's probably 6 or 8 feet. Yeah. Landed directly on my elbow. And my camera that I had slammed into the ground. So I was really more worried about my camera. So I got up, made sure that was, I lay there for a few minutes. I was pretty dazed for a second.
So Ryan and I are actually in another room. We're talking for some of our stuff, and imagine taking a garbage bag filled with human skin and dropping it from 8 feet. That's what it sounded like hitting the floor there. And we're like, "What was that?" And I was like, "I better go check on that. I don't know what's going on." I figured there was some sort of Bo knocked something over. Is what I was instantly thinking. I thought we're going to get in trouble here. And I go in there, and there's Bo trying to get up, and again. Sean was there. He was trying to help. The other guy had to look away because Bo's pants, of course, once again, his ass was about halfway as he's bent over trying to get himself up. I did see about half an ass, and the other guy couldn't look at it. He was trying to control himself from laughing, and which, I mean, that'd be my natural inclination too. Once I see you're living and you're not dead, I'm sorry.
I think what happened is they were laughing, and then their boss walks in and is like, "You can't be laughing at somebody visiting our distillery that could potentially be hurt." So I think that it was that dynamic, but
I don't think I realized it was that dire of a situation there, Bo. I apologize, my man.
No, it was 100% fine. I ended up with a knot on my elbow. Yeah. I don't think I broke anything, nothing. But
what helped you out, Ryan, was I said, "Bo, when's the last time you had gout?" And he's like, "Oh, I haven't had it in a long time." And then like the next morning he gets gout, and that's worse pain than the elbow injury. So
totally right.
Totally. I spent the remainder of that trip with a gout flare up that was probably one of the worst ones. And Bob
Whitlatch.
Yeah, Bob Whitlatch had told me like on day 1 to get cherry juice, and I stupidly waited till about day 4 and drank it, and within 10 minutes or 20 minutes, it was gone completely.
Yeah, it was wild. Right? Because Bob kept saying, he's like, "Cherry juice will fix us." And Bo just ignores it. Cherry juice. And every time he'd see it, Bo's, limping around, he'd be like, "Cherry juice."
Right.
And, so Bo finally did it. And
well, you survived you survived all that to get the right shots, I imagine. So you're a trooper. You kept on filming. Things are good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Things are good. Ryan, did you have any ladder incidents? Is anything in
when I asked the question, I didn't, but amidst the conversation here, I actually brought something back from memory that I had blocked out. This is this is probably 19 years ago or so, because it was the first year we had started the restaurant, the West Side Cafe in Vail, that I started with 2 other business partners. And after closing hours, and I was up in the ceiling, and it's a 16-foot tall ceiling in the dining room. So I'm on a 12-foot ladder on the top rung, pulling some wires for some speakers. And all of a sudden the ladder starts wobbling, and I become a Plinko chip, and I fall. I was halfway. My waist was through the ceiling. And so I hit the ceiling tiles. I hit the ladder. I hit the table. that had all the silverware and the plates on it,
Right.
all the way down. I hit everything, and I landed on the ground, and I bounced on that. And I was sitting there. I was by myself. This was after hours. No one was around. For some reason, my business partner is walking back in about 2 minutes later, and he sees just stuff everywhere. And he sees me on the ground grasping for air. And he's like, and he looks up and he realizes what happened. And like, he's like, holy shit, dude, are you okay? So I was lucky not to break anything in that accident. I just got the wind knocked out of me. So
yeah. You were a young man, you know. As you get
yes.
older, that gets worse. You're still relatively young, but everything's the same. But you're like my age and do that. Oh, you're done. That's it.
And I fall out of bed and I hurt these days. So that's all right.
yeah, for sure. All right. Well, there you go. There's some ladder stories. Bo wins though. Bo gets the trophy there for best ladder story. So, well, guess what, gang? It's time to drink. What is everyone drinking? We're going to start with Nate. Nate, what do you got there, man?
You know what? Actually, I've got Hidden Barn tonight. So, surprise, batch 4 just came out and just hit the stores in Kentucky and Colorado. And I'm going to.
Okay. Squeaky.
Well, it's almost empty. I've been drinking. It's pretty good.
Okay. So. All right. Fair enough. Ryan, what do you got?
Going with our neighbors just over the pass over there, just about 45 minutes away, a little Breckenridge Distillery.
Okay.
Powder Hound edition.
The Powder Hound, yeah.
Powder Hound, yep. Here we go.
Okay, that's enough to take the lead. There's no squeak there like the Nate had, so that's our leader. McNew, what do you got?
I don't think mine's going to do much. It got a lot of love on Halloween, but I have some Hard Truth Indiana Rye.
Okay. No, not enough to overtake Ryan. He's got the lead. Bo, what do you got?
So a couple months ago, I'd taken a trip up to Pennsylvania for work, and while I was there was a distillery up there. So they had a David E. Pennsylvania straight bourbon whiskey, and so that's what I'm going to start with tonight.
Fair enough. No noise at all. Nothing at all.
And you even have the fancy microphone, Bo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sometimes those they block out that sound. Then that's what happens. It's too fancy. Wilderness Trail, 6-year-old. Here we go. There you go, folks. That's how you do it, right there.
Oh, the professional.
That's the sound of victory. There you go.
Professional gets it done.
Yeah, I get it done. So, cheers, gang.
Cheers, guys.
Sure.
All right, we'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, the show's going to be all about Bo. We're going to ask him about what's going on with his various projects. We'll do that in just a few. Let's talk about the people who make these shows happen. First up is the ABV Barrel Shop. It is the most unique shopping experience in the world of bourbon, as the ABV Barrel Shop only sells single barrels. Owners Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot select. With over 100 distilleries on board to sell us barrels, we are home to the most unique and diverse barrel pick selections in the bourbon world. By signing up for our email, you will always know what we have in stock. In addition to the single barrels, we'll have a gift shop featuring ABV Barrel Shop as well as ABV Network merchandise. We are partnering with vendors like Art Eatables and Old Man Bay Signs to bring you unique items you can't find anywhere else. We will also have a 24-seat classroom where we are offering educational and fun classes like Breakfast and Bourbon, a series where we pair donuts and bourbon, customer barrel picks, and opportunities to learn from master distillers and other bourbon dignitaries. Best of all, we feature a tasting bar where you can try before you buy. All of this is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. If you are in the St. Louis area, please stop by to say hi. If you're traveling in from outside the area, please take advantage of our hotel rates with the Drury Inn and Pear Tree Inn, less than a mile from our shop. This can be done via the links in our Visit St. Louis section on our website. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to plan your trip. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. Hi, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network. We're sponsored by the Stave and Thief Society. This is where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge a bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification program available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Okay, let's talk about the Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows and we became friends during my frequent trips to Kentucky. Today, he is amongst the leaders of young distillers leaving their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery yields insight on their unique family history, why their products are special, and gives you the opportunity to taste their whiskey, moonshine, and creams. Check them out at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com or visit them in Sparta, Kentucky.
Hi, this is Rick Brenner, and you are listening to the Bourbon Daily.
Shouldn't it be the legend?
Maybe.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we have Bo Cumberland, and we're talking about his current projects.
Yes, we are. Bo, what's some of the things you got working on right now?
Right now, the biggest project I have going on is I'm waist deep in the Colorado whiskey documentary. Yeah. And so kind of what that entails right now is I'm roughly laying out all of the sections, and then I'm sending them over to you and Susie for suggestions and, kind of corrections. And Susie's taking that and doing the music. And then so where we'll go from there is in a couple of weeks or maybe a couple months, we'll gather all that stuff back and just start fine tuning everything and then go from there. So I think that we're looking at putting that thing out in the spring of next year. So
yeah,
I think plenty of time to get that going.
Still looking good. That time frame that's looking good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's cool. And I know you got a personal project, a kind of a passion thing called Bourbon People. What's that one all about?
Yeah, so I basically moved up here to Kentucky to be just buried in this industry and do what I love to do. And it's just taken me like this long to, I don't know what you want to call it, just get settled or get, whatever. But I'm really trying to work on putting my social media stuff, really get it going and the My Journey Through the American Spirits, which is, I guess the ultimate goal is to draw people to the website. I mean, to the YouTube channel, which is where all the long form content will be. But I mean, as you know, doing all that, you have to go, use TikTok and, Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff. And so, I'm slowly trying to get it there. And so I got, that. So I started this, project. So I got two big projects that I'm working on for that right now. So my brother and I are doing this little weekly, it's a video, it's, for the lack of a better term, it's a podcast, but it'll just be on YouTube, but it's called Build a Bar. So every week we're going to take a different bottle and talk about why we would add it, and it's really a show for more people that are new to bourbon. And so, if you were new to bourbon and you had no idea where to start, what bottles to get, what to look for, it's a show that kind of each week we take a different bottle and say we would put it, we would start our bar with this and we would add this bottle to it. And it's a little bit of information about, the distilleries behind the bottles and a little bit of history behind the bottles and why you would add that to the bar. So we're doing that. And that's pretty fun. Me and my brother just get to hang out and that kind of stupid. So that's fun. And then the bourbon folks is just it's just a thing that I really kind of want that to be the focus. And it's just interviewing, folks of all different kind of jobs in the bourbon industry, whether it's a distiller or a tour guide or, whatever it is, and just kind of tell their stories. And so that idea kind of spurred from, I do another little like 5-minute distillery tours. And what kind of spurred that is I had gone to Glens Creek Distilling. And if you've been there, you know about them. And they're on the old Forester, Old Crow Distillery. And it's just a beautiful old place that, it's just ghost town. It's it's beautiful if you like that kind of stuff. And I just thought it needed more than just a that place needed more than just a 5-minute distillery tour. So Dave, the owner there, let me interview him. And so I got to interview him. And so I really didn't know what I was going to do with that footage, because I want to do something a little bit more than a 5-minute distillery tour. So after thinking on that for a while, that's kind of what spurred the idea of like, what if I'd use this? Because it was like an hour and a half conversation I had with Dave. And so I kind of whittled it down to, a good, I think it's like 30 minutes or so. And so that kind of spurred that idea. And so now I'm kind of in the process of just reaching out to people all in the industry to find out, kind of what their stories are. And so I'm 2 episodes into that one, and I'm actually tomorrow morning I'm getting up about 6:30 and heading down to record 2 or 3 more episodes of that. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Nice. What do you guys want to know about Bo's career here?
Oh, that's great, man. That's, you're in a business that I think there's endless content. So you'll never run out of good stories to report on. Akeley knows as good as anybody on that, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's a great industry to be in along those lines. What was your background before you got into the whiskey world?
So I've been into video for 20 years now, something like that. Graphic design is where I started. Then it was, I moved into video. And so I've been doing that. And even though I moved to Kentucky, I still work for the company that I worked for in Tennessee. I still do video work and like, stuff like that for them. But I'm not going to say that's not my passion, but the industry that I'm in is very scientific, and we work with the national labs out there. And if you're into like, the Manhattan Project and all that kind of stuff, it's like, that would be where you would want to be. But it's, it doesn't do for me what the bourbon industry does for me. So, right. For me, I'd rather be in a rick house. I'd rather be interviewing, a 80-year-old distiller that, has lived through it, or, everything in between. So, but I actually got started before bourbon. Is my brother, the one I'm doing this podcast with, he got me into moonshine, and this was probably 2011, 2012, something like that. And so I was kind of too scared at the time to like get a still and make it myself and do all that. But I thought, I have these video skills, and I'm in literally the backyard of probably 100 or 200 of the, best moonshiners, being close to,
Sure.
the hills of Tennessee. And so that's kind of where I got started. And then, through that, you start filming these moonshiners, and even though they all have different stories and their stories are unique enough, for me, it was more about the spirits. So it was like, all right, so, the moonshine story has been told enough. So I want to break into bourbon and other, aged spirits, but I have no idea. Like, I don't know anybody in the industry. I don't know. And so, I started looking at podcasts, listening to podcasts, and I came across some of Steve's stuff. And I liked the style that Steve had. And specifically, I mean, we've talked about this on shows before, but specifically he had a newsletter that had like these little nuggets in there, bourbon bites, I think. Or is that what you call them? Bourbon bites?
Bourbon nuggets, I think.
Bourbon nuggets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
it's still
reached out.
and Bourbon Zeppelin.
Yeah. So I reached out to Steve, and I just said, could I use some of your content and make these little bitty 2 or 3 minute videos? And I'll give you the credit for it. And so, I mean, he reached out to me quickly, and we started talking about doing more of a long-term, project. And that's how Kindred Spirits came about. And so, we've been kind of doing that ever since. So, but it's, to me, it's not, just about the liquid or whatever. It's about the stories and I'm interested in the science of it, the history. I mean, every aspect of this, and these stories can be told. So that's why I'm here. And I mean, I'm into it so much that I literally moved my family from Tennessee to Kentucky so I could be, on a whim, I could jump in the car and drive 10 minutes down the road and hit whatever distillery I wanted to. So
you're dedicated, man. I love it.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, Nate, anything you'd like to know about Bo?
Well, just a comment. I really like that idea of doing people kind of behind whiskey, because I think that, there's so much information out there on the people in the front of the house, your ambassadors, your master distillers and but there are so many jobs and things, especially going on these heritage brands, where it takes an army to run that and get that product out. So I think that's to bring some light to some of those people, especially even some of the people that do the tasting and all the way down to the bottling, labeling, like everything all around, and that are some of the artists and distillers behind. I'd love to hear and see more of that. I'd definitely be interested in seeing where you go with that, Bo. So
Awesome.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty awesome idea.
Yeah, absolutely, Nate. I agree with Nate there for sure.
Yeah, lots of stories to tell for sure.
Definitely.
And some of those people are generational. Sorry, some of those people are such they're generational.
Oh yeah,
30 years. I was at the cooperage at Old Forest, the Brown Foreman cooperage out there. There was a guy that had 50 years, and it was his last week before he retired. 50 years making barrels.
That's incredible, isn't it?
You could get more than one a day done. I can tell you that. The guy was.
Yeah.
And what I want to say about that is, I think for the most part, when people come to Kentucky and, they make their Kentucky weekends and it's hitting distilleries. I think people are, people want to see the rock star, they want to see the rock star distillers like Freddie Noe, and, they want to see that stuff. But I don't think, it's interesting to me when I learn of somebody like you're mentioning that's been in it for 50 years and, bringing those people to light and having people say like, I had no idea that person existed, or I had no idea that this job existed. So bringing those things to light, I think is, pretty interesting.
Yeah. McNew, what would you like to know?
Yeah, I'm just going to kind of trail off on their comments too. So I watched the one you did with Benjamin Eves today, and I thought that was really cool because he just uprooted his whole life to go work at Kentucky Artisan. And I think people are like, oh, you just become a distiller. Like he had a whole pathway. So I think it's cool that you're highlighting like people's journey into their job in the bourbon world, because it is a journey for a lot of people. It just doesn't happen overnight unless it's a family thing. And that still doesn't happen overnight. It's still work for those people too. So I think it's neat that you're highlighting that. And I like your 5-minute distillery tours because there's a lot that I haven't been to. So I'm like, oh, that's pretty. That's neat. I do want to check that out now. Because like, I feel like a little jaded because after a certain point, you're like, I don't want to do another tour because they're just going to tell me the same thing over and over again that I already know. But you have highlighted some that look very fun to still go check out.
Yeah. And those aren't going to stop either. I'm going to continue doing those. And like I said, those kind of just started with, I had gone to a couple of distilleries and I thought, I always have my iPhone with me. So I took videos and photos and I thought, what would be better than to have I paid for the tour. I paid for, if I got bourbon from there, I paid for it. So they didn't give me anything so that I would say good things about the distillery or anything like that. So I just thought it'd be a good way that, a true fan could go in and highlight what's going on and kind of bring light to, because I tell people, I was talking to somebody the other day, and my ultimate goal is to shed a positive light on bourbon. So, everybody talks about, Scotch is the leading, whiskey in the world, but if I can help tell the story of bourbon and do what I can to tell the story of bourbon, then that's what I want.
Yeah, I would say, even your idea of doing something that I think anything that builds and grows whiskey. So that project you're talking about, where you're talking about for new people getting into whiskey, I think there's a big need for that. I think there's just a lot out there where those people sometimes get intimidated, or they social media or podcasters or influencers, and they get intimidated to ask questions or kind of get that 101, which I think is important to continue to grow whiskey. So I appreciate you doing that, man, taking those efforts on.
Or, people come in the industry, and this happened to me when I first got in the industry or first got into my bourbon journey. You're inundated with, if it's not Blanton's or it's not a $500 bottle, then it's, it's no good. And, what we're starting off with, I'm sure we'll get to the higher end bourbons and things like that. But I want to start off and say, you could buy a $15 bottle of Evan Williams bottled and bond, and it's just as good as anything else you're going to drink.
It's a very old Barton too. That's like my favorite bottom shelfer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you can learn to taste it. You can learn to do all those things with that bottle and build up. I always see people ask, well, should I try this? Should I taste this? And it's like, with those bottles, it's cheap enough that you could buy it and start building your palate and trying to see what you like and what profiles, mash bills. So that's good, man. Appreciate that, Bo.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, good stuff there going on, Bo. And you're going to be coming to St. Louis. Want to talk a little quickly about what we got in the works for that trip?
Yeah. So in a couple of weeks, as we record this, a couple of weeks from now, I'll be coming to St. Louis, and it's going to be, when you and I get together, we waste zero time. So
yep. Long days.
It's literally going to be, I'm getting there Thursday night and we're going to film Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but we're going to do, can I tell them like what exactly what we're doing?
Yes, everything but the one involving that I just told you about. There's one that's really special. I want to keep that close to the vest. I want that to be a surprise.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So while I'm there, Steve is actually going to be one of my bourbon folks. Episodes, just starting out with a podcast and all the way up to owning the world's only single barrel brick and mortar store. So we're going to do that. We're going to do a little promotional piece for,
that'll help too. Yeah. That'll be nice. We'll have some social media stuff then we can use. So that's cool.
And then I had always, I've never been to Stumpy's place. I've never been to Wood Hat. So, the idea initially was just, let's go there and film some stuff. And so we kind of quickly put together, we're doing this Colorado whiskey film, but we could literally film enough stuff in this weekend to put out. It may not be as long form or whatever, but we could put out a St. Louis whiskey or
Yeah.
So, that we're going to be working on that. So, I mean, we probably will be filming from 6 a.m. till 10 or 11 at night. And there's going to be stuff we got to do at the shop after hours and stuff like that. So it'll be good. And yes, the St. Louis whiskey I'm excited for. It's a passion project for me. This one means a lot to me. I see this as a series: Colorado whiskey, New York whiskey, Pennsylvania whiskey. But what I like about this one, it's St. Louis whiskey. We're not. I'm a Missouri guy, I guess, but I'm a St. Louis guy. That's that's how we are in St. Louis. We love St. Louis. People don't move from St. Louis. You go to Colorado, there's nobody from Colorado. We did a movie called Colorado Whiskey. There's one person from Colorado there. Everyone else moved there. So it just doesn't happen. There's no pride in where you live. It's about a cool place to go and live. I get that. But St. Louis, I don't know. It's not a cool place to be, but for some reason we love it. And we're the only ones who love it. You guys don't love St. Louis. We do though. And that's the important thing.
People who are native to St. Louis crack me up because I'll be like, "Oh, I'm from Indiana." Like I never tell people my town.
I know.
My town
that's how it is.
But people from St. Louis will never say they're from Missouri. You're like, "I'm from St. Louis." Everybody I've met from St. Louis says, "I'm from St. Louis," and like, I don't even think you guys know that you're part of a state. Like,
we're our own thing. We're our own thing. It cracks me up. I've noticed it myself now because you go on touristy stuff and they'll be like, "Where are you from?" They'll be like, "We're from Minnesota." We're from New York, and the St. Louis people will be, "We're from St. Louis," and that's
every time.
I love it. Yeah. So that's who we are, and that movie's going to fit in there, and it's going to be nice. And we've got 4 amazing distillers here. I think people are going to be blown away. I don't know that we have the greatest reputation in whiskey, and I understand that. Kentucky's the gold standard, and we have 52. This is embarrassing. We have 52 distilleries in the state of Missouri. There's 5 of them that are really good, and 4 is going to be featured in the movie. We intentionally left the 5th one out, so you never know who that 5th one is. And anybody, it could be anybody. We're not going to say who the bad ones are. But there's 5 good ones in Missouri. We're featured 4 in the movie, so it'll be cool. So it leaves it out there. You guys can just wonder who that 5th one is. So cool stuff.
Well, I do love the theme of the series. I think it's going to be awesome to watch develop. So yes. I'm a watcher when they're released. That's for sure.
That's very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Bo, excited about what you got. And of course, you and I have a very special project I think is going to be big in the bourbon industry. I think it's going to make, I don't know that we do things that are important. I feel like this one that we're going to be doing is important, and it's going to make a difference in an individual's life. It's going to make a difference in the world of bourbon. I think it's good. I really do. But and that'll be shot, and we'll rush that one as much as we can. And I got some news for you about that too, so we're good to go. But all right, well, we'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Nate, we're going to start with you, man. Where can people find you?
Yeah, on Instagram at 5280 Whiskey, or at Instagram at hidden_barn.
Nice. So, this is wild. This is a very experienced show because I always start with the newbie first. Always has to Nate. I've known Nate for a long time. He's in the new guy slot. So we always go in order of seniority. I mean, I've known Ryan really actually, but McNew always gets her spot. She bats cleanup, and then for that. But Bo, you're next. Where can people find you?
So I'm on all the platforms. Well, the big ones under My Journey Through the American Spirit. So look for that, and please go especially to the YouTube channel and like it, subscribe to it, whatever. And I'm also on YouTube and Facebook under Bourbon Sasquatch. All
right, Ryan.
Across all socials at 10th MTN Whiskey, and our website is 10thwhiskey.com. That's 10th whiskey with an E.
McNew.
I am on Instagram at McNew ABV.
For me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. The important website, though, is abvnetwork.com. Check it out because everything that we do is out there. All of our previous shows, our blogs, Bourbon Zeppelin, we talked about that today, so much more, abvnetwork.com. And please come by and see me. We are in the St. Louis suburb of Arnold, Missouri. We've got the world's only single barrel shop. People are amazed when they come in there. It's just cracks me up when they can't believe that's what we do, and people are loving it. So come by, be part of that group, and check us out at abvbarrelshop.com. McNew, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I would like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review. That includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. And if you like what we're doing, we ask that you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
All right, great job today, gang. For our audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you want to experiment on the stove in your kitchen or you're looking for a bigger setup in your backyard, owner Russell Creed and his team can help. They have multiple still offerings, accessories, and even grain from their partners at Goldstone Mill to assist you in making whiskey on par with your favorite distillery. They can also help you with some fabricated parts you probably can't make yourself if you are attempting a DIY still project. Learn more or order your still or parts at moonshinestillpro.com. Another friend of ours is the Goldstein family at Goldstone Mill. The Goldsteins offer a variety of heritage and heirloom grains to make the finest whiskeys in the world. Plus, they are more than just a grain company. They are truly consultants to make sure the grains they are providing to you or your business meet your highest expectations. Additionally, they work with mills around the country, ensuring shipping is as low as possible for their customers. If you're a distillery, brewery, or even doing this at home, Goldstone can assist you. Check them out at goldstonemill.com, call them at 217-254-6613, or check in via email at hello@goldstonemill.com. Last but not least is the ABV Barrel Shop. While we don't get to play in the allocated bourbon game because we aren't selling the other products you have to do to get those, we do have access via our friendships in the bourbon industry to some really cool stuff. Have you ever seen your favorite craft distiller selling some really cool limited offerings only in their gift shop? I'm talking things like the Hazmat offering Distillery 291 did for their 10th anniversary, or Neely Family Distillery's Papaw's birthday barrel. They don't have enough of it to send it out to distributors, so they only sell it via their gift shop. Well, companies like Distillery 291 and Neely Family Distillery have agreed to sell us 2 or 3 cases of these offerings moving forward, meaning our store will have the access to some of the rarest whiskeys in the world. Way more difficult to come by than the allocated bourbon offerings with a national release. Yes, they will be extremely tough to come by, but if you're a customer of our store, you'll have a chance to get them. Get signed up for our email or text list over at abvbarrelshop.com so you don't miss out.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production. you.